good start, right? Like his Battle Fury timing was there. He was allowed to free farm for quite some time. I'm wondering if they want to give him that same tempo, you know, just allow him to farm up, or if he's going to go for something like the Echo Saber, get a little bit more active early on, try to take some map control back. They still fall back to the Whitemon Treant Protector. So it's almost reminiscent again of what was happening with, say, T1 in Whitemon's time, like towards the end of that team's run. They just kept going back to the Treant, right?
With that, Jonathan, we do actually have a video here with Ari. We had to chat with him to see who he thought was the team to beat in the NA region. And I might know the answer here, John, but let's have a look and see what Ari had to say.
EG roster, I think it's Shopify Rebellion now. We're expecting this team to be the strongest. Prepare the most for those, and I will fly out to America to boot camp for these teams. We've played against a few South American teams in BTS tournament, but we've not looked too much at the North American teams yet.
Well, there you go. Shopify Rebellion's the team to beat, according to Ari. I think anyone could have kind of guessed that would be the answer there from Ari, but nevertheless, that's who he believes.
Yeah,
Very good.
You know, if you looked at the rankings that we all had for the teams, I think all of us had a Shopify up there. So
We did.
You know, I think that's to be expected coming out. Still, you know, talking about Shopify, they have to beat nouns if they want to have a clear shot at least securing the majors. So we'll see how they go through here for TSM in this match. Of course, nouns having a spectacular game one and looking to replicate that success. I feel like the adjustments from TSM should be enough to at least put up a better fight. Like looking at Bryle mid up against Gunners. Tusk once more. I think the Ember's a little bit better for matchup. Then again, Leshrac wasn't too bad either. This is something that Gunner can play into a little bit more, I'd actually think, in comparison to him laning against Lesh. So I'm wondering if Bryle can do something special here to slow down Gunner just a bit more. Like dodge out with Sleight of Fist, you can do that. It's all about timing your spells right here and just kind of trying to get every little win possible for TSM.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think it is the point, right? You kind of already mentioned this, but having a hero that can kind of juke and jive against the Tusk, you'd have to argue Ember's one of the better heroes at doing that. So we'll see if Bryle can have more of a game than he did last time around. At least for now, CS-wise, having a fantastic time as he was in Game 1. Top lane, Mu, maybe not having such a fantastic time. Will chase down the Treant Protector. He'll try to run, but against, or rather, a Nature's Prophet. But it's kind of hard against the Treant Protector, who is currently getting body blocked by Mu. Still running here on this Nature's Prophet, but eventually just going to run into a bit of a roadblock and does die. Tomato able to secure first blood on the Monkey King.
It's to be expected, right? I think Fear pointed us out that the Monkey King does really well in lane up against the NP. Lots of kill opportunities can come out. And there's not much Lelis can really do to stop that. Like, you can go for a lift back, you can try to mitigate some of that damage with a Fade Bolt. But this time around, Tomato is looking to get that early activity out in the laning phase and just prevent Mu from doing what he did in Game 1. We saw that timing on the Ags. It was so damn quick in that hero.
It certainly was. Certainly was. Mu, at least for now, being a little bit slowed down. And that bot lane, Kasane, speaking of a person who's having a tough time, he's copying a lot of damage on this Death Prophet. Of course, on the stark contrast of things from Game 1, Kasane had a pretty rough game on that offlane Marcy. At the very least, he's on a hero now that can still have impact if he's off to a bad start, right? Like the Death Prophet, it still does something.
Yeah, it can always pressure objectives. It can be ultra durable in the middle of the fights. I guess in theory the Marcy could have done that as well, but again, they just didn't find the openings once the BKB timing was out, and you know, you had the unfortunate thing with the Basher being stalled out by the Courier Death. Small plays like that coming out from nouns. Still, it's not doing quite enough to stop Yamsun from farming. It's not like he's too far behind in comparison to Tomato, and I think that's a concern. You get that armlet timing, get the Echo Saber up on Yamsun. He will literally rip heroes apart. Like, you just get one piece of global control in that global silence, and Yamsun's on top of you. I think it was Stepan who mentioned that, but once that happens, you don't really have the saves on TSM. Like, the living armor is nice, it's not going to stop a CK.
Certainly won't. Only 0-1 so far. Very slight net worth lead the way of nouns. Action breaking up at top lane, but nothing to really write home about here. Was Lelis going to get chased down. This could be another kill to go the way of Tomato, but they'll lift him up. Instead, Whitemon will go for the chase. He can't really slow him down much more, so Lelis going to be okay to back off. TSM, though, of course, more than happy if Tomato can just hit creeps. He had a very slow start of the Ursa last game around as well. The Battle Fury timing wasn't so bad, but he didn't really have too much space to farm afterwards. This time with the Monkey King, I'd argue it's a much better start.
Yeah, it's going a lot better. And again, the Monkey King timings, it can be faster depending on your itemization, although it looks like Tomato is going to hold it open with at least a ring of health coming in. So you have a shift there. They are getting aggressive bot here, but not quite enough. Yamsen is pretty tanky, so it's very hard to kind of fully commit. You don't have anything to just kind of hold him down for max value in the Spirit Siphon here as well. So you can kind of poke and prod better, but you aren't going to stop Yamsen from completely farming. Although he is having a little bit of a slower lane in comparison to game 1.
That he is. Bottom lane again. They'll try to move in. Yamsen, very, very tanky boy. Husky is the real target here on the Silencer, but going to be protected here by his CK, which is something I wish my carries would do when I'm playing +5 Silencer, John. They just let me die every time.
Yeah. Sometimes it do be that way, Mike, you know?
Yeah.
Like your boss one just wants to farm. Yamsen, he's a little bit more keen. He is on the CK. CK can get aggressive early in lane. They've got the value point, 2 points now in the Chaos, right? So you can look to really melt heroes if your RNG is right. Especially if you get the Reality Rift off. Minus armor with a big fat crit and a little healing back. Always feels good. But I don't think nouns are under extreme pressure to actually play aggressive. It does feel like this lineup can actually opt to play the longer game. And I think it's TSM that has to go faster. Like it's TSM's draft that has to kind of move quick with the monkey, which they are doing. Lelis.
Yeah, he didn't chase down again. Surely has no way out this time. Whitemon doing a great job of just slowing him down. Body blocks were there as well. He wants to feed the kill to Tomato, and Lelis still running, but won't be able to get away. Tomato able to secure a second kill already. Just almost 6 minutes into this game, though does get caught out by Mu. But it won't matter. You don't really have the follow-up unless you can get the old school body block. The surround, I mean. But not quite. Tomato's going to be okay for now.
A lot of damage, though, just from Nature's Prophet onto Tomato. You can see just how painful those right clicks are. It's still a really good lane for Tomato, though. So many kills under his belt. Kind of reminiscent of what we saw from Nouns last game with Yamsen. He had a pretty good time there, but you are building up. And for TSM, it's a much stronger start. 0-2. You have this really good lane for Brawl. He's not under threat of being jumped right now. It's pretty hard to pin down the Ember this game. I think that's one issue for Nouns as well. Like, holding down Brawl is going to be quite the task. You are relying on probably just Snowball and Lift, and it's not particularly reliable to keep Brawl down.
Bottom lane, Husky again going to be focused up, but Kasane going to get jumped here by Yamsen. Husky trying to run, we'll get to the tier 1 tower. In fact, Gunnar, great rotation. It's all about slowing down Kasane, but the Spirit Siphon's making it rather hard still. Kasane, he's got nowhere to run, eventually should drop. Surely he can't keep tanking through this, and he will not. Husky able to take the kill on the +5 Silencer. Why the hell not? He needs a bit of farm after this lane.
Now gets the +2 int as well. So you're pretty happy in getting that out from now. It's great TP out from Gunnar. That does leave a lot of room for Brawl down mid. You know, he's leveled 7 now on the Ember. He's got his face boots up. He does a lot of damage now with the maxed out Sleight of Fist. It can be a little bit harder to pressure onto the Ember.
Mid lane, Aura's punch out. They've got the Ember. Bryle getting caught with his pants down. Lelis, he had the phone out. Johnny took a nice photo of that in the mid lane, I'll tell you. Mid tier 1 tower it is.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that's when TSM should be playing around the Ember, but again, Nouns are the ones taking initiative. Same movement out from Mu, onto mid, gets the treants down, and is also going towards the same item build here, Mike, going into the Ags once more. You don't have the egg to tie it into that team fight, but
yeah. Brawl's playing with fire. The tier 1 tower's gone. This is disastrous right now for TSM. We talk about this. Supreme Protector. You want to delay that mid tier 1 tower timing going down so much. It's 8 minutes in. It's gone.
Not a good feeling for TSM. Same as game 1. It's just you don't feel good about your game when your map is going to be under so much pressure from this push. coming out for Mu, his presence coming out for TSM. I mean, you look at a Ricky support, yeah, it can do some stuff with Smokescreen. You don't even have that value point in Ari. And you kind of want that Sleeping Dart timing. That's 15 minutes, 7 minutes down the line. Kasane does pop the Exo to push in bot. They've got 4 heroes here, and Yamsen just bails.
Yeah, he's just TP out, forehead. Everything's just fine. TSM, they'll still use the Exorcism to find the bottom tier 1. Nouns, they'll obviously start pushing out the top tier 1 while they're at it. Everything's just well and truly great for Nouns so far, just getting away with everything. But I suppose for TSM, they've just got to trust that Tomato's going to get to a point in that Monkey King where he's just out of control. But, well, Battle Fury build taking a bit long. He's falling a little bit behind in net worth, perhaps, and well, never mind. He's going to catch up, but it's still going to take a bit of time. And in that meantime, Nouns applying a lot of pressure.
Clear out top. They can try to start to continue to invade this top jungle. They've got a really good forward ward on the ramp already. And they can just kind of cut off the areas where Tomato wants to farm. The Battle Fury build, it's not the most worst thing in the world for the Monkey King. It does make sense if you do drag this game out long enough, but you aren't going to be joining some of these earlier fights now. You still have some good combinations on hand if you do. Overgrowth Wukongs can give you enough time to maybe get some stacks up on your Jingu here and just get a really nicely lined up Boundless Strike as well, but it does look like Tomato will want to just go back into the farming game. And my concern with that is if you just go back to the same tempo you were in game 1 from TSM, nothing changes. So they have to play around really Kasane and Bryle a lot more. I think this time around, Bryle in particular, this Ember is just probably your best forward here because it's just so slippery. Like, outside of Global Silence being tossed out by Husky, the Ember is just going to be able to dance around if he plays his cards right. Although, I said that before, but Gunnar and the rest of the team did manage to find him anywhere.
Well, Ellis is very good on this Ruby. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like he's always in that perfect position to get the lift off. And yeah, if you cop the initial stun, you're probably as good as dead here as Brawl. And you know, he's not really going to be working onto anything like a Lincoln Sphere, for example, which might give him a chance. Maybe a BKB later on down the line. We'll wait and see. For now, 3-2, 3K advantage does give me a chance, of course, to remind everyone of the odds from our partners, esportsbet.io. They were actually favoring TSM, 1.38 to 2.90. See, Nouns proving that completely wrong in game number 1, and currently proving those odds wrong in game number 2. This top lane, Ari, and we chase down. Mu does get the spread off. That'll give the vision, and Ari probably just dead. High fives from Mu.
Another nice kill coming out here for Nouns. It's a lot more punishing to die now as well because of the Husky on the silencer. You're just losing so much int. At some point, you might run out of mana. You know, we've seen that before in our community memes, of course. TSM, I don't know how to feel about this, Mike, because it feels like we're seeing a replay of game 1 almost. There is a little bit more coming out from Bryle. He's got the Orb of Corrosion. He can kind of play tag, but they're not. Right? They're just farming mid, farming bot. They're not grouping around potential from Exo. Maybe they just want the durability items out first. At the very least, a mech finished up. Could be what they're looking for, but look at Nouns. They're just taking initiative again, going for another smoke.
Yeah, I mean, Gunner's got an Invis rune, so he can initiate very safely. Bryle, do not walk up that staircase, please, sir. Do not. He will Remnant to the other side. Snowball's not going to land, but shards are there. Global Silence out, and they've got the damage. I don't know if he misclicked there, John, because I believe he had a Remnant up north. Kasane, meanwhile, getting chased down, and arguably should just die. Tag team is there. Lelis, he's zipping around with his own remnants. Ari trying to join in. One by one they come, and one by one they fall. Ari, he's going to try to run, but he is probably just dead. Oh boy, here we go again, and look at that. John Yamson, he found himself a gift. Well, don't mind if I do, he says.
Yeah, it's pretty painful for TSM. I mean, that's where your investment in the Battlefield has gone to, towards the enemy team. Whitemon at least sticks around to get some EXP, not much.
I mean,
still
he
doesn't hit 6. Yeah, he still doesn't. He doesn't even hit 6 off the back of it. Like, I'm kind of grasping, okay? It's pretty dire.
It's like those SCA games we used to play where there's 5 people in mid because everyone is a mid player.
Yep.
It's like, hey guys, we'll get to level 2 eventually. Don't you worry. It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah. It's even worse. It's not even just 5 mid players. It's just that one mid cries, so the supports come. The other mid cries about the supports, so the supports come as well. Suddenly you have a 3v3 on mid.
Yeah.
And it's just like that for like 10 minutes. That's Southeast Asia. Still.
And what I've learned from the CCNC streams, John, is that doesn't happen in NA because they just leave the game. In SCA, we can't afford to leave. We can't afford it.
When does Whitemon pick up the NA ways and suddenly just leave a game? Who knows? He's not quite NA yet, but someday he'll get there.
Gunner, he got another double damage room.
Oh,
Aren't you the lucky man, Gunner? Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Gaben's giving Gunner a present today.
Yeah, just every time. Unfortunately, I don't think they can take Roche off the back of this, but they could just kill someone. Ricky, Ari is a nice target if they do want to go on that one. Takes at least half his HP gone from Wrath of Nature. Always nice to see that.
Oh, Tomato. That's a big one. He's the saving grace right now. He's the highest net worth. He won't get caught out. Lillis, he was very close. Didn't have the cast range for the lift there. Tomato, quick reactions to get out. He needs to survive. Like, this Monkey King is all they've got left.
Yeah, he's really just a win condition. It's rather fortunate. They get the D ward as well in the obs. It was about to expire. They even get the bonus gold. It's like it's about to die and they still get the gold anyway. It's like,
yikes.
I mean, it's you know, it's a small amount of gold, but still, it doesn't feel good for TSM. It feels great for nouns.
Yeah. Oh, you say small amount of gold, John. It's huge to a support.
Oh, of course.
We drool over that stuff. That's all we get. If that.
Yeah.
You play with a Slark, they buy sentries just to get the gold. It's sickening. People act like it's a good thing that carries the buying awards. I don't like it. I know where the damn Observer awards are.
You know what else TSM won't like? This Roche being taken by nouns. Good vision to protect. No vision from TSM to scout this out. And Roche is just absolutely melting to the output of Yamsen. Good to note as well that Gunner does go for the Midas. He had it earlier.
Yeah.
Again, some of that influence from Speed in NE DPC Tour 1.
Shout out to Speed.
Going through. Good old, what was it? Electronic Boys, I think.
Oh,
Speed Electronic Boys.
Yeah, those were the days.
All Midas all the time.
He was stressed out those games, John. You could tell.
He was doing something, you know.
He had to do... You know what it is, John? When you're playing a casual game with your friends and they're all like 50 ranks lower than you, that's what it was. Whitemon's going to get caught out. That's what it was. I'm going to say it. Speed didn't say it, but I will.
You know, it's a mix, because he'd go Midas, and then he'd also play PL like Pale Horse would.
Yeah.
So it was like a mix of this. It was like a fever dream.
Yeah.
That period of NA Dota, I was like, what the heck is this?
Bottom lane, Kasane might be saying that same thing right now, John. He may get caught out, and it looks like he has. Snowball is there. He's got Ari around to try and help, but Ari doesn't even have the shards up. Like, he doesn't even have the shards. There's nowhere to farm for the Riki.
Yeah, he's a long way.
He's got it now. No, he just got it on the courier. He just got it.
Okay, yeah. So, just a bit off in the timing, but, you know, considering this game, 2 minutes off the 15-minute mark for the shards and the Riki, actually not that bad. Yeah. All things considered here for Ari. So they can try to play off the back of that, although...
Ari, speaking of the devil, still underneath the sentry, Ari, keep running. You'll be okay. They won't catch him.
I mean, you've got the shard from Ari. The only real hero you want to connect with that is probably Braille, maybe Kasane. You just kind of chain Dart Silence is one combination, or just Dart into chains for Braille and just pound onto someone. Either one. You do have more durability from Kasane now. Full Guardian Greaves up into the BKB next. So you still have some good timings here for TSM. 9-2, 5k lead, but it's not the end of the world at 18 minutes in. It's still 1 or 2 good fights can bring you back into the game, and you do have Tomato farming up with his Battle Furies.
Mid lane, that's a good sleeping dart. Gunner, it's caught out. This is a great target, but the global silence is going to make it very hard, and now the 4 stuffs. We've seen this before. Ari going to try to run. Yamsun, he'll throw the stun out. It will eventually connect. Meanwhile, on the backside, Whitemon, he holds them back with the overgrowth, but it may not matter because Whitemon, he will be the one to drop, but you'd rather the Treant die than anyone else. So they'll be okay with that. Though Ari, he gets dusted up once again. Spidey senses tingling there from Lilith. But it's going to be fine. Instead, Nouns head down bot. They have no mercy, these guys. Tomato, please run. This is not safe, sir. He'll get into the tree line. Oh, Moo's going to miss. Tomato pretends to be a tree for a moment. Backs out of there. Ooh. Shards, they are really looking for this monkey.
Oh,
Gunner!
The cut!
How?
The shard vision.
How does he do it?
Oh man,
it's
the timing.
I hate this guy. I hate this guy.
I mean, everything just lined up. He got the shard, it didn't land on him, but he knew the jump would come in. He sees the jump, gets the tree card. Like, outstanding. 11-2, TSM. I don't know if it's not just execution. I just feel like at this point, I think it's fair to say Gunner's just outplaying them. Now it's just outplaying them as a team at the moment. They still have a situation of coming back, but it's just looking tougher and tougher.
Gunner's one of those players where you're like me and you've been playing for 20 years since Dota 1, and then you see a young man like this come up, and you just question what you've done your whole life, you know? Luckily, you and I became casters and actually financially made something out of this, but it does make you question everything, doesn't it?
It does. Again, I remember Ginnispris when we saw Gunner there, and that was just mind-blowing.
Bring him back, please.
Yeah, well,
In fact, don't. Considering the performance Nouns is having right now, maybe don't.
Maybe don't. It's rough. For TSM, I mean, they've got these item timings. I can't see a way of them playing around it.
Here we go. Husky at least gets caught out. Global Silence is up, though.
Oh, no.
Kasane, he'll go for a run. Shards, oh, it's a block. Kasane, he can't catch a break. Leave the man alone. They'll get a nice boundless. Wukong's overgrowth, a lot of damage onto this CK, but he does have Aegis up. They'll get rid of one life. This could be a team fight for TSM to take. Root up again. Wukong's is going to wear off. Nouns, they won't dive too deep. They'll leave it be. That'll be enough for them. 6k advantage remains. At least TSM do get the Aegis off this CK.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of commitment, but it does pay off. You can see just how durable Kasane is in the middle of that fight. Dropped super low, but had the Guardian Greaves, managed to get a couple of Spirit Siphons off, or at least one off, and that's enough. The burst damage isn't quite there yet from Yamsen. No, only has Echo Saber plus Armlet, and is going into the heart, so he's looking for durability here. Just maybe fattening up those right clicks and hoping for a Chaos Strike crit to come true with the added strength. No, he shifts his itemization now, so just kind of turning things around. Does have the BKB almost ready to go. Smoke out from TSM. Initiative coming out from them, but the smoke from Nouns as well.
Yeah. See what happens here. I mean, they're going after Moo. He's a big target on this Nature's Prophet if they can get him, and they won't find him. Nouns instead, they're wrapping around. Here we go again. Who's the target they find? Tomato's around. Bryle's an even better target, it seems, for Nouns, so they'll make the jump in. Perma-stun, perhaps? Not quite yet, but they have the silence. They're going to lock him down and love. Tomato, he's going for the fight. Tomato, buybacks are there. It seems like they really want this fight against Nouns, but TP out. Tomato just TP's out. Moo, he won't be so lucky. Ooh. Excuse me, I meant Yamsun TP's out. Tomato was trying to kill him.
Yeah, he just bails out in the middle, didn't have Phantasm, so didn't feel the comfiest to try and get into that fight. And TSM, they find a pretty good kill in Moo. That's actually massive. He's #1 in net worth. They get some punishment off. They did pop Exo. They could try for a push afterwards. Oh,
nice sleep, Gunner. He's another big target. 4 staff away, but he's still silenced up. A nice boundless Lelis. He lands on 4. Gunner has a snowball if he needs it, and he doesn't use it. Oh, he doesn't use it. Slider Fist was there from Bryle, and now they can go for more. TSM looking to really punish Nouns. They'll find more. Lelis is down. Onto Husky. He will drop to boot. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's what we needed to see from TSM. Just play around these spikes, play with that single target control you have on Sleeping Dart, and just isolate these heroes. Nouns, just a bit out of position, just maybe feeling a little bit too confident coming in there, especially with that move out from Yamsen without the Phantasm out. And they get punished. TSM, they are pretty much back in the game. 6K lead for now still stands, but the momentum, or at least map equality, is starting to feel like TSM's working the map pretty well. They're going for the Ags next on Tomato. Not too far off from that. BKB for Kasane is going to be pretty damn big as well.
Again, reminder, the odds here for this matchup from esportsbets.io, they were 1.38 to 2.29 in favor of TSM, of course. Still 5K advantage here for nouns, you know, but TSM, they've got a bit of momentum going back their way. You love to see it. Obviously, you and I would love to see a game 3 here between these two teams, and well, TSM definitely not out of this one yet. Like you mentioned, I mean, Moo's a huge target, highest net worth on the board. If you can keep catching him out, suddenly nouns are going to find themselves in trouble.
Yeah, they definitely will. I do have to say, I think once you have another 4-staff here coming out from Husky, it could kind of simplify the bailout process. I think that's the one thing they're lacking. They have a 4-staff on Moo and a 4-staff on Lelis, but add the third 4-staff to the mix and the shard of Lelis, and that play with the dart into silence, it's not going to be as impactful. It does feel like your window kind of shrinks if these supports are around, so it can be a little bit harder for TSM to execute on, but again, we've just seen them execute. They've got the BKB up on Bryle, so it's a lot harder to pin down this Ember now, and Husky's going to have to try to watch his usage of that global silence to try and catch out Bryle, as he is the slipperiest hero. And even Tomato as well, with his own fresh BKB, of course. And these heroes can just keep jumping around, and that is where nouns doesn't quite shine this game. Their control just isn't great.
Oh no, they're not going to go for the Tusk. TSM, 5-man smoke up, they'll wrap around towards the top side. The line's been drawn out. They know exactly where nouns are. Another massive team fight, if they can pull it off. The Tusk is not around to help right now, and Yamsun, he's the first target they found. Quick BKB though, Yamsun. Immediate TP away. And the rest of nouns will do the exact same. They will be just fine. The smoke from TSM will not pan out.
Yeah, they had really good vision out from nouns. Smoke breaks under the ward, so they just managed to back off. And not too much loss. That is a BKB charge once more from Yamsun. Doesn't feel great.
Oh, Lelis getting a little bit greedy there for the creep wave. Will get punished. They do take him down. Bryle finding his 3rd kill of the game now. Finally online as the Ember, it seems, and well, suddenly Roshan's up. So the question is, can TSM try to force this?
Yeah, they've got the damage, they've got the Exo if need be. They will go for the Exorcism play. Nouns, they could contest. They're all sort of clumped up towards that bot jungle, but it doesn't look like they've got an inkling that it's happening just yet, although Gunner does send an illusion out. So they have an idea, but it is falling rather quick. Massive
wins here for TSM. Roshan will go down basically for free. They do not feel comfortable fighting without Lelis. That's kind of like what a creep wave does to you sometimes, John. You just go back for it and things happen. Tier 2 bottom tower was under pressure, but Bryle's going to be there to clean it up. It's no problems for him. Now, it's still sticking around this area, but TSM, they're just pushing the opposite lane. The game's so much more even now that they understand they can just kind of mirror the side of nouns if they really want. But instead, TPs are coming back towards the mid lane. So perhaps they want to fight, but it seems like they're more addressing the push that's coming in thanks to Moo. And it really goes back to that Ags. Your lanes will never be pushed out with this Aghanim Scepter on this Prophet.
Nah, it's just so easy to just keep spamming that out on such a low cooldown.
BKB. Morris punches there. Global Silence committed. He's got a little bit of time to try and survive through this. Bryle, can he remnant away? He'll try towards that low ground. He's going to be all right. Instead, Ari's the one to get caught. So not the worst situation in the world for TSM. They'll take it. Now still on the hunt for more. They might run into White. Oh, the courier. No, Whitemon, the courier. Oh, the courier betrays the Dream Protector in the end. Whitemon, he gets caught out. Sometimes you forget you sent your courier to yourself.
Yeah, it just gives vision. It's unfortunate, but you know, not the biggest loss in the world losing a tree, and I think you're much happier copying that gank in comparison to end of the course of TSM taking it. So, you know, it's not the biggest loss in the world. You do just fine in your job, just throwing out living armor, you don't need too much gold. Although Whitemon is still finding some decent source of gold, going into the 4-staff, into the Blink. So you will have some utility of your own here for nouns. For nouns' part, I mean, the Scotty is still being worked on by Yamson. It does feel like you need a little durability coming out now on that CK. I do like that Husky's already up to 26 permanent intelligence stolen. So our silencer is pretty damn big at 28 minutes in. Almost an int per minute, which is massive.
Tomato. Mid lane, he's got the backup there behind him. Maybe just trying to bait them in. Nouns is not taking it. Keep in mind, Brawl is not around the area, but he could probably just remnant right back to his team anyway. And it seems like TSM, they want to try and force something with this Aegis up. Gunner's got an Imdiz rune up. He wants to see if he can find a target for them. And Tomato's huge if they can get it, but again, he does have a secondary life, so they'd rather start on maybe one of the supports, maybe even Kasane, and they might just find Kasane. Gunner's going to spot him out. Still running forward, but decides better of it. Won't blink in, won't risk it. Instead, Nount, again playing the slow game, allowing Mu to kind of abuse these treants, and he's just constantly keeping the bot lane forced in. Such an annoying thing for TSM to have to deal with. As Whitemon almost finding Gunner there, but not quite.
Yeah, just playing poke right now, getting the D wards off from Noun's end, so do take away a little bit of that ramp vision. Still good wards from TSM to watch the triangle area. They feel very confident in getting that far from themselves as well. I think my one concern going into the late game is, or at least the early mid game here, is you've got the Ags up in Tomato, and he is a pretty good solution to that CK. Doesn't have anything like a Maelstrom, but the Battle Fury does a fine enough job. The Wukong's command is going to be annoying as well, although...
They're going mid lane. Oh, they found Brawl again. He's going to BKB up just in the nick of time. Be able to escape just barely, as now Gunner being kind of forced stuffed away as he got stunned up. There's your roots out. They've got the Monkey King held down there for a moment. He's okay though. Again, he still has that Aegis up. Bottom lane's being forced in by treants. They might have to respond to that. TSM, what are we doing? Are we defending or are we fighting? They'll smoke up behind Tomato. They want the fight. But what's it going to cost? Husky ready to break the smoke whenever, but no, Lelis! Oh, he gets him mid-lead. He still has that secondary life. They'll have to force a fight now, TSM. They are going to try and chase down Yamson without the BKB. They've got him held down. Can they get the CK? He's still running, but eventually they've got him. TSM finally punishing Nouns heavily. And now they can go right after that tier 2 tower. Or can they? The fight still might be going. Gunner, he'll make the jump in after Tomato, but that's all he's got. Just a walrus punch, and the BKB's about to wear off Tomato. He does go for the Wukong's command. As they do find Mu on the tree line, he'll force up to the high ground. Silence out onto the Monkey King, but Bryle, he'll chase him down. Mu is there, still going. Gunner back on Tomato. Has he gone too far? He hasn't got the damage. Tomato somehow still alive. Somehow still running, but no. Mu's finally taken him down. Whitemon's trapped up. The old block is there. Kasane tries to TP out and barely makes it. How does Nouns turn these team fights?
I mean, they were already pretty dang low on TSM's end. They popped a lot of resources to find those initial kills. So when the buyback swings around, you don't have the longest cooldown spells on your Tusk, and you can just get back in there. No BKB, but no threats of any disableds. And for TSM, I mean, it's decent enough. They force buyback out from Gunner. The moment they kill off the Tusk, they find that opening they'll need to maybe look for further objectives. But I don't think Nouns minds too much. They get a lot out of that. They stay controlling the game. Roshan's still 2 minutes away, so no immediate way of kind of correcting for Gunner's lack of a second life. But you stop TSM from trying to build that momentum, and the tier 2 still stands. You managed to get a good defense off.
They lost the tier 3 bottom tower, by the way.
Yeah, great treants.
It's see, that's the problem now, right? Because every fight you try to force, if Nouns drag it out, Mu is just constantly pushing bot racks. There's no tier 3 to defend it. So this lane is always going to be a headache now for TSM.
It will be. Went with the level 15 5 treants talent. So it's just a massive wave. I mean, Tomato can clear it out, but you don't really want Tomato spending his time de-pushing lanes. He is your damage on that monkey. He's got the Ags. He's got the Crystallis up, going for the full Daedalus. You need the Monkey King around. Your supports don't really do much against that. I suppose Whitemon can with the Nature's Grasp, but Ricky most certainly does not enjoy that. And you do need your DP as well. You need every core in the middle of these fights. So it's going to be a bit rough going and trying to repair the lanes. That it'll provide a lot of room open for Nouns End. And for Nouns part, they've got the full Lotus Orb up on Mu. Scotty finished up on Yamsen, going for his own Manta next. And Gunnar still saving up for the death. I mean, he's the one that hurts the most from that buyback. So going to be stalled out in that minus armor for a little bit more. TSM, they're only 3k behind, despite everything I said. They are still pretty well in the game, and Full Satanic is up here for Tomato.
Gotta say, I never realized how broken Sleeping Dart was on Rubik, by the way.
Yes.
He doesn't have it now, but my god, that is a long-ass range.
It is insane range. It's, I'm not sure how that's fair. He's got the Psychic Headband, too.
Oh, of course he does. Nouns, Sleeping Dart's there, gonna be just fine. Kasane trying to get the fight going. They'll try and on to Yamsen, but he's gonna BKB, and Nouns looks like they'll back off. They're running towards the opposite side of the map though, and Yamsen is maybe left behind. Chains away, more 4-stuffs. Here comes Gunnar. They'll go into Whitemon. The Treant Protector's already gone, but Yamsen, he's the big target. The CK still trying to fight, but is going to drop. TSM finding the primary target. In fact, they find the second primary. Mu trying to run. Sprouts up. TP away, but Chains are there. TSM. Oh, they're finding the light at the end of the tunnel, I think. As Gunnar, he is not safe either. Tomato takes him out. They'll even get a bonus gem for their trouble. No buyback on Yamsen or Gunnar. And I think TSM, they've got a way to go high ground.
Yeah, they definitely have that way onto the objectives for themselves. They do not have the Exo ready, so it might not be as fast as you'd want, but considering the farm you have on Tomato, it doesn't feel like it's going to take that long either. The options for Nouns, a bit limited in this defense here, Mike. It does feel like in these engagements, I think the difference with the Silencer and the Phoenix is most certainly felt. You don't have that sustain coming in anymore. You don't have that area denial with your ult. I mean, Global Silence is nice, but people can fight through it. And you have to time yourself to see the BKBs pop first, which by then, maybe your Global Silence is already too late anyway.
Right. That's a good point. On TSM, they'll find one Rax. Great news for them. Out they go. Or do they? I mean, you could keep trying to force it, but the respawns are incoming. You'd rather go right back towards that Roshan pit, and there is the third Roshan of the game now available. Aghanim Scepter is available on that Roshan. Happy days for TSM. And I don't think Nouns can really try to force this Roshan fight. But they might have to.
I mean, they at least have the Global Silence ready, and they have Phantasm ready on Yamsen as well. So you can most certainly come into that one. And they will go for a smoke play here.
Roshan's going to go down quick, though. You've got a Daedalus now on Tomato. Can they get there in time to force this fight? TSM still going for it. In comes Nouns. They're in time. Gunnar, he's going to get the vision. Roshan so darn low at the moment. Leipnir out from Brawl. Hold them down for a little bit longer. Give Tomato more time. In they go. Kasane going to try and start the fight. It's all about giving Tomato the time. Brawl's going to jump into the Roshan pit as well. They're just focusing on that Aegis and they've got it. Now they can force the fight. Do TSM want to though? Kasane's already down. They might just back off and wait for another right moment. In fact, there goes Whitemon. Chase is on, but they're not going to be there in time. Aegis is there for TSM. They'll just rate the respawn timers out.
Yeah, they can afford to be patient now on TSM's end. They've got the 10k lead on their side. Their hyper investment onto Tomato is paying off. The Monkey King is up there. Bryle has managed to bounce back spectacularly well. These Gleipnirs coming out from him, that's just disrupting all these fights so much. At the least, for Nouns, Lelis does have the full Octarine. So you do have a lot more uptime on your spells. You have a 9-second cooldown Sleeping Dart at 1,000,000 miles of range. Your entire screen, basically.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, very good indeed. It's putting someone out of the team fight for so long. Like, it's a 3-second sleep duration, but with the Rubik, it just feels so much longer. Bryle, smoke broken. Gonna Gonna go after Gunner. A lot of damage being dealt already onto that task. Gunner will try to buy himself a little bit of time. Global Stance going to be popped as well. Bryle already doing a fantastic job of forcing so much out here from the side of Nouns as he keeps going forward. Finding now the Silencer Husky in trouble. In comes Moose though. They got the silence on the Ember.
Oh.
Bryle, he's gone too far. Oh, and Sleeping Dart's there. Tomato, still okay. He'll just Primal Spring right back out of there. But Bryle's down for 100 seconds. That was his dieback. Tomato still sticking around. TSM going to try and reinitiate, but Yamsun, he's going to jump in. He's going to jump in with such low HP. He has the trust in his teammates to try and get the fight going, but he's down. So is Gunner.
Ooh.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's a lot of aggression coming out. Could have been a little bit worse if they did lose Husky there as well. But you lose your two big cores on Nouns and TSM, really good fights coming out. You know, they're finding the angles here. They're using this gold advantage they do have on hand from Tomato quite well. And for Nouns, they don't have a proper way of stopping that Monkey King. You can try to focus in on the DP. You might be able to find Kasane. But with how long it takes to kill that tanky target, going on the Monkey King next just feels really difficult. And onto the high ground they do go.
Well, at least you have the Sleeping Dart to slow things down.
That range.
But it's going to be a tier 3 tower going down. TSM again. Still have that Aegis up on Tomato. Desperately trying to slow it down as much as possible is Nouns. 10 seconds for Gunner. 16 for the CK to be back up. But the mid-racks, it will be cliffed. A little bit more time. TSM surely just won't back off. There's just no need to. They'll keep going. Gleipnir out. Uh-oh, wait a minute.
Oh.
They've got the Monkey King. Tomato. He'll drop once. He's in a very awkward position now, surrounded by the Treants, or rather by the Sprout. He'll try to fight with the Wukong's command. Tomato. It's not going to work. He just doesn't have enough. So TSM 1, or rather 2 racks is up. Happy days, but giving a bit away. Moo won't find Whitemon, and well, Nouns, they are still in this.
Yeah, they're not completely out, but it does feel like this game's a lot harder now for Nouns in comparison to TSM.
Chase down, Gunner. Stay with his own BKB, but doesn't really have the damage output right now on that task. Gleipnir is there from Mu. Sleeping Dart is going to be very annoying for this task, but he'll keep going. Bryle shows himself, however. Nice chains out onto 2. Gleipnir out from him as well. Lift away from Lelis. Snowball will buy a bit more time for Gunner. Somehow still alive. Bryle eventually does catch the killer now. Well, they can move right onto Yamsun. That's the one they really want. The CK. Can he survive through this? He'll BKB up a Kasane, proving to be way too tanky. They will force them back, but Yamsun still being chased away. In comes Bryle. They've got the lockdown, and they should have the CK. In fact, they even got Moo. Bryle, he is not having a repeat of that game 1, I'll tell you what. He'll keep going for more now. Lelis gets chained up.
Oh, man.
No mercy from Bryle.
Oh, yeah. TSM, maybe a bit of a warm-up in game 1, Mike. You know, a little bit of adjustment in the draft. They start to take the initiative in this game, and granted, they were farming for almost about the same amount of time, but when they did go out with their items ready, it came out a lot better. I think the adjustments coming out from Nouns, there was an idea behind it. We could see that, but it's just not paying off. Like, the moment you cast Global Silence, the silencer at that point of the game is really not doing much anymore. Your CK just doesn't feel tanky. You have to buy back to stall out this shove in.
They're not backing. I mean, they're just so farmed here, TSM. 17k, but you look at the farm of Tomato and Bryle, they are just absolutely huge. TSM, playing a little bit safely here. It does feel like they can keep going. Moo is still down for 20, but they are going to back their way out. They won't risk throwing this game. Back into that Radiant Triangle they'll go. They just keep that farm up, keep that net worth extending. And Nouns, well, they're the ones that need to find a way back into this game. I just wonder how they do it. Like, the net worth isn't what bothers me. The amount of farm Bryle has is really the concerning part, because this man, he is just doing whatever the hell he wants if he's not dead. Yamsun, he cannot do whatever he wants. He's playing CK at the moment. He'll get chained up, force the Phantasm just to get away.
Yeah, it just goes back to that issue we were talking about earlier on. Ember is just very free.
Gunner! Oh, Gunner! He gets caught by the Boundless. They won't be able to lock him down long enough.
Yeah, it's just a lot of back and forth. Again, the big issue for nouns, keeping someone like Bryle and Tomato down. Outside of Global Suns and maybe Sprout with this level 20 talent, it doesn't feel like he can really hold anyone, although...
Hold on a minute. Tomato's been caught. The rest of his team was backing. Bryle, right in. Look at this guy. He's just so confident. Bryle, right in the middle of five, and here comes Wipon. Oh, he's put him in the blender. Tomato shredding them. Oh, Moose, he's the last one. Get him out of here. He's gone. Oh, boy. That's just too much damage.
Buyback.
Husky somehow survives. Gunner will buy him a bit of time, but there's no buybacks available. They're on the tier 4 towers. In fact, well, Whitemon does go down, but it won't matter. There's no way to defend this, surely.
Nah. Megas are going to come out. I saw Ari just eat like 4 mangoes.
Oh boy. Bye-bye, Gunner. No GG call incoming. They might be having a chat about what happened in this game number 2. But this game is well and truly over. TSM, you've got to give them props here, John. It was a very rough first half of the game. But man, oh man, did they make a great comeback. I mean, you remember that first half of the game.